is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. I am your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome all my narrators. How are you this great weekend? Welcome all my new listeners. So if you're new to the podcast and you're unsure about, what my content is about, I will briefly explain. So first of all, the title is called The Narrative Podcast. It's called The Narrative Podcast for a reason, because I wanted to do something to counterbalance the way original people and original culture are portrayed and depicted in the media. And so basically the mainstream media projects a negative image about our people. They produce negative stereotypes and just all around negative frames of reference and concern to us. And why that's a problem is because, it's definitely psychological warfare at its best. Not only are they controlling the minds of the masses to view us a certain way, they're also programming us and conditioning us to look at ourselves a certain way. So what I want to do is provide a platform where I'm playing up our strengths and basically highlighting and showcasing us at our best instead of at our worst, and providing positive frames of reference. So the Narrative Podcast essentially is just a reference tool about original people and original culture. And if you're late on the uptake, when I'm saying original people and original culture, I mean Black people and Black culture. My original tagline was The Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative Black stereotypes about Black people and Black culture. I've since then had an epiphany about the word Black, because I also believe in the power of words on my podcast. I'm a firm believer in anything you speak will manifest into existence. So you got to be careful with your words. And the powers that be definitely believe in this as well. That's why they even came up with the word Black in reference to us. Because if you pick up any dictionary in any thesaurus and look up the word Black, you will see all kinds of dark examples of negative connotation surrounding the word Black. So like, for example, like a black cloud, a black plague, dark, dismal, when you're about to snap, they said, I'm about to black out, When you're about to lose all your senses, they say, I'm a black out. And just biblical reference. In the Bible, they called us the colonizers called us the children of Ham. And if you're familiar with the curse of Ham in the Bible, so like I can go on and on and on and on and on. But anyway, that's why I just replaced the word Black with original people, because it's like an all-inclusive thing. It doesn't matter, because we have many different types of us. We hail from many sides of the world because we were the original people, the original man, the original woman who was here first, and that's an actual factual, proven fact. We was the first to evolve. We was the first to, stand up, be fully sentient, create architecture. We created tools, everything, any modern day thing you can think of. We invented it. We originated it. And if we didn't invent it or originate it, we definitely made it better. So that's why I always call us on my platform original people. It can't be disproven. Like anywhere in the world, I think the only exception to that rule would probably be like the North and the South Pole. But every corner of the globe you can think of, we was already originally there first. But anyway, got a little long-winded with that explanation. Also on my platform, I just basically celebrate our spirit, our energy we bring to the table, and just us winning. What I don't do is gossip, feed into the negative black stereotypes, and promote, slander and just any type of negativity. What I will do on my platform, if one of us is doing something foul that reflects poorly upon all of us, I probably will address it in a commentary. But because I'm a straight shooter, but other than that, I don't really do, what's going around in the rumor mill and all that Hollywood gossip. I'm just here to celebrate our people and be for the people. Narrative Podcast is basically just empowerment through providing positive frames of reference. My overall takeaway I want you, the listener, to have from my podcast is to share positive content online, because the content you post online is essentially your carbon footprint. This is what people outside of your culture think you're all about. Whatever platform you're on, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, whatever you're posting online, that's, a cultural representation of you. So I want to, inspire people to promote positive things. Going to school, positive accomplishments, getting good grades, giving back to the community, examples of leadership, examples of entrepreneurialism, examples of networking, examples of us getting along with each other instead of always in violence towards one another, and embracing us. That's what I want, to inspire all my listeners to do, is to take these because that's why I call my listening audience my narrators, because we all essentially have the power to, push narratives and change narratives, because the media is always distorting the narrative of our people and our culture. So, we can fight back with our handheld devices and our tablets and our laptops and whatever digital device you use to post content. That's how we can fight back. All righty then. So, also to my new listeners, my narrators, they already know the drill. But if you're newly tuning in to my podcast, I have my podcast broken up into sections. Each section has a speaking point. Because I don't like to, drone on endlessly. Because if you're just droning on, talking in circles, it's not really a podcast, it's a rant. And so I want to hit all my marks. That's why I divvied it up into sections. And I will explain each section as I come to them. And I shouldn't take any longer than 1 hour to do this. And the reason why I want it to resonate with you, I want you to really just think about everything I'm saying and go apply it to your life and others around you to some small capacity. Okay, so diving in, my very first section is the promotional section. And in this section, what I'm doing is inviting original businesses owned and operated by original people, giving them the opportunity to get some free promotion for their business, product, or service. And the reason why I'm doing this is to keep the original dollar circulating in the original community. So I'm extending the olive branch to all original people, business owners. Please hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host if you need or would like some free promotion for your business, product, or service. In the subject bar, type promo. In the body of the email, tell me a little bit about yourself, product, or service. The more, detailed your email is, the better job I can do at advertising or plugging your service. So just, be as thorough as possible, because consumers, they want to know where they're, who they're dealing with. They want to know your educational background. They want to know why you decided to, get into the business, what prompted you to get into it, what inspires you to sell that product, and what is your business's core value system if you're a business, if you're not just selling, a product, and things of that nature, things that should be included in the about section if you have a website. So, like I said, the more thorough you are, the better drop I can give you. So, once again, for the free promotion, hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host and type promo in the subject bar. So that's it for that section. Moving on to the next section. In this section, it's a contest designed exclusively for this podcast. And what its purpose is for is to reward all my listeners and supporters with an opportunity to get something free, just for showing, their support, that they're listening and paying attention. And then an incentive for new people to listen to me, to get something free. And also to, inspire participation, listener participation, to connect with you on an interpersonal level. And, just basically vibe with you through a contest. So I'm working on trying to get a hotline, and I'm definitely trying to transition from audio to video, start thinking about YouTubes and TikToks and all that. But I've been doing this for about I started this right at the height of the pandemic. Just like as we was coming out of quarantine, this is when I started my podcast. So I've been doing it for quite some time now. I think we was just not quite out of quarantine. Things were still pretty much, we were still in lockdown when I started. It was still mask mandates and 6 feet apart and all that. But stuff has started opening back up. So that's the pocket in which I started. But anyway, what I was saying before I veered off putting is, this is just a way to connect with my listeners. So To enter this contest, just simply participate with the contest topic, and the contest topic is Shopping While Black. I want you to share your most recent Shopping While Black experience. And for that, I will reward you with a bulk supply of your favorite snack. And to enter the contest, just again, at that same exact email address that I just gave, rifled off for the free promotion for the business owners, I'm using that exact same way. The way I'm separating them is through the subject bar. So in the subject bar for the Chew On This contest, in the subject bar, type Chew On This / Shopping While Black, and I give you a bulk supply of your favorite snack. And then in the body of the email, of course, share your most recent Shopping While Black experience. Your mailing address so I know where to send your prize to, and then what type of snack you want so I know what to get you. And it's a bulk supply, so it's like not like just one single serving of it, whatever. It's like, it's the get right pack. And ideally, I will try to get it from an original people-owned vendor. But in the event if I can't find one, most likely it'll probably be coming from Sam's Club or Costco's or something like that. Anyway, so that'll conclude that section. So that once again, to enter it, hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type Chew On This / Shopping While Black, whatever's most convenient for you. And then body of the email, your most recent Shopping While Black experience, your mailing address, and then also what type of snack you want. Now, diving right into, the meats of my podcast. This section is called the highlight section. And what I'm doing here is providing positive frames of reference about original people in the way of entrepreneurialism and doing for self. So I usually highlight businesses owned and operated by original people. And I try to find ones that have an interesting background story because, what I want to promote, like if you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired of this system, you can sit down and you can figure it out and start your own business and do for self, like, the business owners that I highlight in that section. So it's like they didn't necessarily have it together, just like you. If they did have an educational background, it didn't necessarily align up with the product that they are selling. So they had little to no experience, no job-related or education-related experience to the product they're selling. They started from the bottom. They either got a loan or, did a crowd funding or something like that. They had humble beginnings. So that's the type of businesses that I try to promote, is businesses that started out with humble beginnings, just to demonstrate that it can be done. If you want to do it, if you're really passionate about it, it can be done. Just inspire you. So even if you don't want to start your own business, to hear somebody starting from the ground up and doing good things for themselves and the community that they're rooted in, that's really inspiring. So we need to hear positive news, and that's what my platform's for, to deliver positive news. And then my last thing, final qualifying factor for my podcast is or that section of the podcast is that it aligns up with my theme, and this month's theme and will be the month of fall. So things you think of when you're thinking about fall, the season of fall. So I'm doing seasons for my highlight section. Then also, like I said, they give back to the community. They either have their own nonprofit organization, pay into another existing nonprofit organization, or sponsor something. So, like they give back to some small capacity to do some type of philanthropy as well. All right. So, like I said, um, the theme is fall, and one of the first things that come to mind when I think about fall is going back to school. It's back to school season. Um, so last week was the last pretty much week, in my opinion, of summer. The days of summer are now gone, and depending on where you live in the world, if you're living down south, you can't tell that summer is gone. But if you're living like in the Midwest, like, yeah, in the Midwest or up north, summertime is pretty much gone. Like, there's no more warm days. But if you're living like down south or on the West Coast, you know, where it's kind of sunny, anywhere where it's kind of sunny all the time. But yeah, school has started back. The children went back to school, and so that's my theme right there. My segue actually is back to school. That's my motivation I got for the businesses I will be highlighting today. And what do you need to go back to school? You need back to school supplies. So one of the most basic back to school supplies I think all students need is backpacks. So these original people owned operated businesses that I will be highlighting are companies that sell backpacks. All right. So the very first company is called Coco Cuties, and the physical address or the email address, excuse me, is cococuties.com. And then for any inquiries, you can email Denise at cococuties.com. And then also, she has an IG page, is at cococuties.com on the IG. And oh shucks, forgot the lady's name. Oh, did I write it on this one? One sec. I had to find the sister's name. Forgot to copy it in this set of notes. All right. Oh, I believe it is Denise Butler is the creator of Coco Cuties, but I'll double check right quick. Yes, that's her name. Denise Butler. I swear I'm trying to get the Jeopardy sound effect when I be taking along the kind of or some type of elevator music is what I need when I'm researching to kill that dead air and that silence. But anyway, yes, the sister name is Denise Butler. She is the creator of Coco Cutie. She started her business because she felt there wasn't any brands that represented us well. So she got to work immediately. She started sketching up ideas, and bam, Coco Cuties was born. She also has written books as well on that same site. Her educational background, I went to LinkedIn and saw the Coco Cuties. She interned as a sales consultant. She's operations analyst. For education, she got a bachelor's in science. Volunteer work, Hospice of Chesterfield County, South Carolina. Build volunteer for Habitat Humanity in South Carolina, and a donor of World Vision Children. So she's very well rounded, got a sense of giving back to the community. So I don't know, I didn't do any super deep digging to see what her brand is, what type of philanthropy her brand is currently involved in, but I'm sure as her business will expand, she'll hire her own and give back to the community in some small capacity. But for right now, the way she's giving back is giving our children some self-esteem, going back to school, having a physical representation, a positive physical representation of themselves. So, something positive for their subconsciouses to latch onto and, just, have a positive self-image. So again, I'm going to veer off on a side tangent. That's kind of why I'm doing this podcast, to help give us a positive outlook and a positive self-image about the way we look at ourselves. Because, the mainstream media, they weaponize this content. They set the media up to have us portrayed in a certain light, have us looking and sounding in a certain way, and viewing ourselves in a certain way, so that you can't love your brother, you can't love your sister, you can't tolerate or stand your brother or sister by what they're doing with these negative stereotypes. Can't stand yourself, Yeah, it's a psychological warfare game. They're teaching us to hate ourselves. That's pretty much the only one I got in full detail, because that's the only one I could find, or whose story I felt stood out. Then also, another thing that aided her was her. She came from a family where her father owned his own business, and her mother also owned her own business. So she comes from a family of entrepreneurs. So doing for self got ingrained in her for that passive income. The next companies I'll just be sharing the websites, because there's not a whole lot of background about them. It doesn't really say no pictures, but it does say, black owned. Like I don't say it, but if it's printed, if it says African American or black, I will say it like that. If it's like that, but on my platform, I try to say original people. If I did write them down, let me see. Okay. Now, the next one is Society 6. These are some backpacks for students. So to check those out, go to society6.com. And then Nordstrom's. Now, Nordstrom's is not black owned and operated. It's not a black owned and operated business or original people owned and operated, as I say on my platform. But what they do have is they have a division. They have an ethnic division. So it's like a free range market. So what they do is give opportunities for original people creators. So like if you say you're designing t-shirts, you can go pitch your t-shirts or your graphic designs to Nordstrom's and they'll sell it. They'll probably take a little percentage of it, but they'll add it to their line. Like, you know what I mean? Kind of like Walmart does, kind of like Target does. It'll still be your business. They'll just take a little percentage for stocking your wares, but then you'll be also still earning money. And so that's what they got going on. They got like a little division for basically like a like the We Buy Black section in Target or Walmart. Kind of that's what they got going on. But yeah, so it's kind of misleading because when you go to the website, it immediately says black owned and black operated, but they're not talking about Nordstrom's itself. They're talking about, the product line in Nordstrom's. They got a black owned and operated product line. So I just wanted to clear up that misconception. So that's not from the top to the bottom. They got a board of directors and, that's what I tried to do in this section is try to promote original people owned and operated businesses from the top to the bottom. But Nordstrom's is not founded nor operated by original people, but they do a co-op venture with original people designers. So like if you're designing some wares, you want to sell them, you can go pitch them to their retail store. I guess the phrase is wholesaler, like they're a wholesaler. So like you take your product over to them and they'll store it and sell it to the public, like because they got Nordstrom's all over pretty much the U.S. But anyway, so yeah, they got their own black-owned brand line. So go check those out at Nordstrom.com. And the next one is Society 6, and it's at Society 6, Society, and then the number 6.com. So that'll do it for my highlight section. Give a warm round of applause to Denise Butler and the Cocoa Cuties brand. And a warm round of applause for Society 6. And for everybody, all the designers that are original people to take their product over to Nordstrom's. Clap it up for them too. All right, my next section is called the spotlight section. And in this section, what I do is I spotlight prominent figures in our community. And the prominent figures usually are entertainers. And basically, I'm just giving them their roses while they're here. I feel like, they're well known, come from a wide range though. Actors, actresses, athletes, comedians, public figures, writers, producers, directors, content creators, the whole gamut, the whole nine. Basically, just anybody using their platform to represent us in a positive way, carry and conduct themselves in a certain manner, do some type of philanthropy, some type of giving back, some type of way to, basically just shift that paradigm and, just carry and conduct themselves and be a stand-up brother or a stand-up sister in some capacity. So, and before I dive in, I said on every section, I think I started the way for spotlighting because nobody was spotlighting anybody. And so I started my spotlight section, and now spotlight this, spotlight that, spotlight that. I'm not really wanting the recognition, but it's just like the internet makes the world really small. So that's how I know I'm reaching people. That's how I know, my platform's growing. Besides my stats, it's growing. Anyway, so today, Spotlight is about someone who is basically for like about 5 decades been a beast in Hollywood. Started out humble beginnings coming out of Chicago. He was the man in the 80s. Like, he was just like on fire in the 80s. Like, everything coming out of Hollywood, he was either writing, producing, starring in, directing, just running Hollywood in the 80s. He's still today, he's just like a little more reserved and behind the scenes, but he just got mega monster hit after mega monster hit under his belt, and I don't think, he gets enough recognition for putting on for the culture. He gave us so many cultural, iconic, like standout things. It's just like everything he has done is just like etched and embroidered into the culture. Like you can't just like take something out. I can't even picture how life would be if there was never a project he created. This is just how like stellar he is and how dynamic he is and how much he changed the game. Like, I can't even picture life if he hadn't created a film or some type of project. That's just how, influential he is. And I'm talking about none other than writer, director, stand-up comedian, comic. And, for aficionados, there is a difference between, a comic and a stand-up comedian, because like anybody can be a comic, but no, not everybody can be a stand-up comedian. But anyway, this brother here, he pretty much just changed the landscape of, how we are being portrayed and perceived in the media. He has created so many firsts. I can't even just run down his resume. I'm gonna just give a brief background and then just dive into why I'm giving him his spotlight and what I admire about him. So he was born in 1957 in Chicago, Illinois. Oh, did I even say his name? Robert Townsend. So he's born on February 6, 1957, on the west side of Chicago. He became interested in acting during the class reading of Sophocles' Oedipus Rex, which was a Greek tragedy, for those that don't know. This is like a Greek play. And then, everything Grecian, they kind of just stole from Africans. African, the Greek gods and all that. It was just really like African proverbs. They just flipped it. But anyway. After that, he joined Chicago's Experimental Black Actors Guild. And then he started just auditioning for all, their plays that they put on and participating in their improv workshop. Then he attended a year at Illinois State U, moved to New York to study with the Negro Ensemble. And after that, his first breakthrough role was a non-credited cameo guest spot, like a quick little snippet on 1960s classic, it might be 70s, I'm gonna have to check, Cooley High. So, yeah, there was that brother that scene when they was in the gym shooting hoops, and he comes over and says a little line. It's about just a half a little blink. That very young Robert Townsend, I think he was probably 18, 19, probably if he was out of his teens, he was just barely into his 20s. So yeah, he got quite an extensive resume spanning from 4 to 5 decades in Hollywood, and he gave us the 5 Heartbeats with Keenen Ivory Wayans. They collaborated together and came up with that. Gave us The Parenthood, which was a very positive frame of reference about the original people family structure, seeing us as a family unit without being in dysfunction. He had a job, his wife had a job, they lived in the suburbs. It kind of picked up right where the Cosby Show left off. They tackled issues, but it wasn't never to the point of drug addiction or, one of the kids being shot or nothing like that. He did have an episode a gang violence episode. I remember that where Brat guest starred. And then also you had Faison Love on there. You know, he was a regular on that show. And then also, you know, he had his own on television a variety show where he broke in a whole lot of brand new talent. Gave it, you know, it was like 10 different shows all rolled up into one. It was a little bit like amateur night at the Apollo, the Arsenio Hall show. So it was like part talk show, part sketch comedy, part auditioning. They had skits, and it was just like, wow. And then the Bad Boys of Comedy 1 and 2, HBO special. And then, of course, the iconic Hollywood Shuffle, R.I.P. John Witherspoon. Like, yeah. But the tagline for that was like, shit, it's work at the post office, because that particular film dealt with original people feeling they had to sell out because these demons, these little Hollywood demons, keep coming up with these stereotypical roles, and they make you feel like you have to do it in order to get your career moving. And so the movie's basically underlying plot was to, you know, there's always a way to maintain your integrity. You don't have to take the bag and, you know, shuck and jive and play those negative stereotypes up to propel your career forward. And so that's what that movie was about. And that was iconic. And I don't think he ever gets enough, you know, praise for that. And then, of course, you know, the 5 Heartbeats, that was indicative of the time what our people went through. There were so many iconic scenes. Had to endure with the record industry, which is still, that movie is like almost over 20 years ago. But you look at the 5 Heartbeats and then you look at hip hop, and you can see the parallel today still. And it was a fictitious movie about, you know, the music industry back then and how they portrayed us and how they used us and how they pitted us against each other. So for him as a film director to capture that conflict and just make it so effervescent and, you know, resonate like that, that is just nothing shy of amazing. And he's just, his whole career has just been one groundbreaking moment after another groundbreaking moment. And I think a lot of that comes from all that culture he absorbed during his journey. Because it's like, he shows that we are a cultured people, because they try to condition us into believing we are downtrodden by nature, that, you know, we are the lower echelon of society. But in all his projects that he's ever come up with, he always depicts us in a positive light and showing that nobility, showing that class, that natural air of regalness we have about ourselves. What I said, 5 Heartbeats, yeah. But I could just go on and on talking about all the things that I admire about him. He also did the Carmen, the hip opera. So where he fused, you know, the opera and hip hop, because it was just like, if you looked at it, went back and looked, it was just basically like there was rhyming off the top, but he did it like, you know, he made it to where it was a modern day. Because Carmen was an opera, so he just like fused hip hop to make it relatable to our culture. which, like, if you peel back the layers, they stole opera. That was our culture too. But anyway, but he's just so amazing, so talented, so exhilarating. He gave us so many firsts, so many groundbreaking moments. He does not give his just dues, or get his just dues. Like, we don't. I feel like we should just really acknowledge him more and honor him every time we looking up for all the doors that he opened for us as a people in terms of representation, like representing us well in every project he's ever created. So, applause to Mr. Robert Townsend. Thank you, sir, for all you've given us, and it was more than a pleasure. And I'm looking forward to all the new stuff I know you got coming on the way. All right, and now on to my second section, and this section is called the health and wellness section. In this section, what I'm doing is promoting the healthy, active, fit lifestyle. Everybody is free to listen to my platform, but my main target audience is, original people. So, this is our issues and health. The health and wellness tip, as it relates to us, is things to, as our genetic makeup is different. I'm speaking in terms of melanin, how to properly maintain that, and, total body fitness, mental clarity. Those are the types of tips I give. Diet, mental wellness, spiritual wellness, and just things to promote the healthy, active, fit lifestyle, things that will keep your immune system fortified and your mind healthy and clear, because we're at the target of all of it, of all these toxins and pathogens and negative isms that they keep pumping into our minds. All these chemicals and biohazards they're putting in our food, in our water, in our air supply. They wreak havoc directly in our melanin. They deplete it, disrupt it, distort it, and ultimately the ultimate end goal is try to destroy it so they can destroy us. But if you maintain a healthy, active, fit lifestyle, you will maintain your vitality and maintain your mental dissonance. So, that's why I'm doing this section. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a health guru or health nut. I'm not a herbalist. I'm just somebody just trying to see my people, thrive and live, like literally live their best life and stay alive, especially in these times we're living in with the C-19 and all these other germs and pathogens and bugaboos they're trying to come up with to get us up out of here. But yeah, the types of tips I usually give is like, the health benefits of a fruit, veggie, herb, plant extract for the physical stuff, physical exercises, mindful breathing tips, meditation, things to encourage wellness, mindfulness. But today's health benefit is the health benefit of lavender. Now, lavender is rich in flavonoids, which are anti-inflammatory naturally. The lavender is an edible flower. You can use it in teas. It's antibacterial. It kills It destroys most viruses on contact. It helps aid in digestion. In females, it helps with the menstrual cycle and menopause. It's most commonly used for is calming. So relax therapy, aromatherapy, is used to de-stress and help with anxiety. It also is, so basically it's a mood enhancer, just a natural mood enhancer. It also helps with weight loss. It's rich in antioxidants. And if you know what antioxidant is a fat burner. And, there's many ways you can take it. You can, in its natural form, it's edible flower. You can eat it straight up. You can steep it and brew it in tea. Lavender has become very big in the baking world. They're doing cakes, pies, ice cream, any type of, sweet confectionery treat, lavender. And then also teas. You can make topical ointments. You can make soap with it. And again, it's just basically to, enhance your mood by mellowing you out. Just a natural mellow downer, I guess. Not the downers like you got to pop from the white coats. You can also use lavender scented. You can press it and make an essential oil and use it as aromatherapy as well. So that's it for the health and wellness tip. Definitely go explore, do your own due diligence, but I highly recommend you get some, lavender in your life especially if you're feeling stressed. And next is my speaking point. Now, my speaking points kind of vary. Sometimes my speaking points are to if any current events is happening in the world, as it relates directly to us, something happening in our community, or maybe something that's happening in the world, and I unpack it from the perspective, what does that mean for us? Or if it's just some days I don't really have anything planned, and I just made an observation, just something that I was thinking about on my mind. Something, we do within our culture, self included. And so basically the purpose of this section is to tell our stories, because history has dictated, if you don't tell your own story, you will have your story told for you. And the way they're telling our story is they're twisting it, distorting it, and straight up lying. So, I'm just telling our story from our perspectives on our own terms and conditions in this section, and just the whole podcast in general as well. So today's one of those rare days when I didn't actually have a speaking point planned, but I thought about something, and something I speak on quite a lot on my platform is forgiveness, or perception. So, the narrative is just basically how you perceive something. And I think we have kind of like a crutch where a lot of our perception gets jaded is in religion. Now, I'm not going to argue and debate what is the true religion, what is the false religion. Not doing that, but I think I can definitely say in Christianity, there is a whole lot of warping of the minds, and it goes all the way back to slavery. And the biggest way they warp the mind in Christianity is, through scriptures. They kind of distort the scripture verse to fit their narrative. And the biggest, thing that they do is they talk about forgiveness in the scriptures, like all the time. Forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. Like, have you ever noticed, like, when we are victims of a mass shooting or any type of violence towards us from people outside of our own community, the first thing that comes to mind, or the first thing ever, is forgiveness. Turn the other cheek. Anything that happens, turn the cheek, turn the cheek. We done ran out of cheeks to turn. We done been getting smacked on the cheek. We almost don't have cheeks no more. So forgiveness is essential to some capacity, because when you forgive somebody, you're releasing a load so that you're not lugging around hatred, because hatred will ultimately destroy you. It'll manifest in the physical diseases when you have a disdain towards someone to the point that you fixate on them, that will wreak havoc on your health. So I get forgiveness in that sense, but to keep forgiving people that are hell-bent on destroying you, that's just insane. And we got that bad with, forgiving people trying to hurt us. So just think of family and friends and associates. Just think of that. I want to take the little race card off the table for a second, just to put it in that perspective. If you got, you're in a relationship, they keep doing stuff you don't like, you tell them the problem. I don't like when you do this. You make me feel like this when you do this, and they do it, they apologize, and then they do it again. They apologize, and then they do it again. And the whole time, you're not happy in that relationship. Now we call it toxicity. When somebody, intentionally, pulls and tugs at your emotional heartstrings, or trips your emotional trigger. They say sorry, but really they're not actually sorry. They don't want you to bring it up what they did to have you feeling that way. They just want you to be quiet. So that's all I'm really saying, is just pay attention to that. They offer fake apologies. They do things intentionally that they know is going to hurt you, either mentally or physically. And then they say, sorry. And then it's not a sincere apology. They try to make you feel like you're wrong for feeling that way. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but here's how it is. So I'm just saying, we shouldn't be so, you can forgive, but just don't be dumb with your forgiveness. Don't just be stupid with your forgiveness. Just keep on taking them back. Keep taking them back. because they're not sorry. They know exactly what they're doing. You don't have to play the game. You don't have to be the voice of reason to enlighten them and to show that you don't have any animosity towards them. You're not the problem. You didn't design this system. You're a product of it. You was born into it. So you can keep on just forgiving them, and they're going to keep smacking you in the cheek. So what do you do in a toxic relationship? You get out of it. Stop picking up the phone. Stop responding to messages. You hit them with the, oh, it's not you, it's me, to avoid hurting their feelings. But you get away from them. Because you're tired of getting smacked in your face. Because every time, you tell them, hey, I don't like this, they keep doing it anyway. So now I got to get away from you. Because now you're intentionally trying to hurt me. I got to get away from you. So us as a people, we got to get away. We got to get our own. We have to be unapologetic with it. We got to be relentless with it until we get it, till we achieve it. Excuse me. Or we're going to keep on just getting smacked in the face and keep having empty, meaningless, baseless apologies. So my very last section of the day is my final thought of the day. So the final thought is just something I want to put on your mind, something I want to inspire and promote thought-provoking, or however you want to say it. A gem, a jewel, a pearl of wisdom, just something to resonate with you, just something to make you think critically, or just something to just make you think, something to challenge your intellect, just something to put on your mind. This oftentimes is things like we're when you're working on something, when you're passionate about something, you want it to happen right away, that instant gratification. Not too religious, but I do, I still read religious material, Bible, Quran, whatever, and religious people. I listen to, the teachings of all good, religious leaders we have in our community, or just religious people, period. When I was watching an episode, I forget what it was. I think it was an award show. And Kirk Franklin was accepting an award, and he was talking about, waiting. I can't remember what his exact words was, but he used like an analogy of food. He used a food analogy, just to basically, you need to wait, because he was like talking about like how good home cooked food versus microwave meals. And basically what he was saying is it's always greater later. Like you can get it right now, or you can wait and have that lip smacking good food that resonates with you, that stays with you, like that'll have you sucking your teeth, or you just hungry and want something right now. And so, like, My final thought of the day is don't underestimate divine timing, because we can have plan A, plan B, plan C. We can have planners on our device. We can buy little planners to mark your day to help you with your goals. Journaling, especially for those people that's into manifesting, and it does work. It does work. But here's the thing: it works in time. See, whatever you're working on, whatever you're doing, it's not going to manifest until it's time to manifest. Divine timing, when it's like the perfect time for you. So I'm not saying wait, don't do anything and try to wait on the perfect time. Like continue, building whatever you're trying to build, complete whatever goal you're trying to complete. But don't get frustrated when it doesn't happen at the exact moment that you want it to. Because everything happens in divine timing. Everything happens when it's supposed to happen. So the doors that close, they're supposed to close. Like, you get complicit, you have a little routine down. I'm going to go here, I'm going to go here, I'm going to do this, I'm going to talk to this person, talk to that person, and then poof, just out of nowhere, that person got removed and snatched from your life. Can't talk to them no more, can't communicate however y'all used to communicate, because they only served a purpose for that moment, because that was building you up for something better later. So all your experiences on your journey, when a door closes, don't lose your focus, don't lose your momentum, and also don't become so anxious that you just reach out and take anything. Because if you reach out and take anything, you're going to miss out on the thing. Your big breakthrough, I put it in perspective. I love, the culture of hip hop. Ice Cube, he had told a story, the NWA story. Why did you, almost every interview he's ever in, he's like, why did you leave NWA? All interviewers always ask him that question, and he's like, he tried, the current manager, Jerry Hurler, he gave me $100,000 to sign the contract for all his artistry. So just imagine if Ice Cube didn't wait on divine timing and he would have took that $100,000, we would have never had, all his greatest hits. We probably would have never had, the Friday franchise series and every Cube Vision Entertainment had he took that $100,000. He waited in divine timing. The opportunity happened when it was supposed to happen. So sometimes things don't happen the way you want them to happen. They just happen when they happen. But when they happen, oh boy, when you wait for it the way it's supposed to happen, wow. And I think that's where a lot of us, make our mistakes, self-included, is, we want that instant gratification, we want it right now, and we latch on to the very first thing that looks and sounds good to us, and we take it right away. And then it just it's good in that moment, but there's no sustenance to it. Then the moment dissipates and it's gone, and it's like, damn, why did I do that? So divine timing is what I'm saying. And then I also want to, weave another little sub point into that, is also we don't be thrown off by looks. Everything that looks good to you ain't good for you. It's a whole lot of transparency out here in this world, Like, it's really divisive. The perception of happiness. So every smile that you see isn't a joyful smile. Sometimes there's a lot of pain behind that smile. They look all good, hugged up as couples and whatnot, but really, like, they really just like, ugh, I don't like this. It looks good in the picture. Parties, mixers, when you're seeing all these entertainers at these parties popping the champagne and big Chuck E. Cheese smiles, like they don't really want to be there, but it's like a promotional thing, it's a network thing. So also just, the grass is not always greener on the other side. It's always, something lying underneath. And that's what our eternal struggle is. We got to dig and peel back the layers. And when you peel back the layers to find the truth, to see, what it really is. And just, what it appears to be on the surface. Because when you peel back the layers, sometimes it can be something juicy and sweet. Sometimes it can be something foul and venomous when you peel back the layers. But you got to take your time and wait on that divine timing and not just take it. And then also don't confuse with, I put some time in it. Like, I've been in a relationship. They met my family. She met my family. He met my family. And we've been doing for years and years. And now it's time. It's time. God said it's time. I'm for her, she's for me. But like, just because you put in some time don't mean it's time. Projects, careers. Just because you put in some time don't mean it's time. So you got to wait for the divine timing. And the divine timing is right on time. It happens when it's supposed to happen. And speaking of time, that's my time. This has been another episode of the Narrative Podcast. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Halsey Allen. Please join me next weekend for another full broadcast of the Narrative Podcast. And download this episode of the Narrative Podcast and our previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. And to help me keep building this platform and keep bringing you good content. Better content is on the way. I'm going to start having guests. I'm trying to transition into, other things. But thank you for all your continued support. But the downloads really matter. So please download this episode for as many times as you can possibly download it. All my episodes. This is episode, matter of fact, this is episode 122. So, just please continue to support by downloading the Narrative Podcast episodes and make sure it's hosted by me, Halsey Allen, because there's a whole lot of Narrative Podcasts out there. So wherever you get your podcast from, download it. Also support my poetry blog. It's called Halsey's Poetry Corner. It's at www.mrhalseysblogs.com on blogger.com, powered by Adam. And how you support that is to, visit the link and share my poems on all platforms, on your Facebook, on your Twitter, on your YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, Pinterest, Snapchat, whatever you got. Do people even do Snapchat anymore? I don't know. I ain't heard about Snapchat in a minute. Pandora, whatever your social media networking site of choice is, share one of my poems from Halsey's Poetry Corner on it. That's the best way to share. You can also comment on it if you really, really like it. If you don't like it, you can comment and give me some feedback. But just whatever you do, support it, click the link, share it on all platforms, comment, whatever you want to do. Also, lives. I also broadcast live throughout the weekday. Randomly, I don't know what days I do it, but in order not to miss a day that I'm doing a broadcast, your best bet is to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Halsey Allen on YouTube. I don't have a specific channel for this podcast, but if you subscribe to my channel and just click the alerts, you won't miss a live broadcast, because this platform I'm on just like automatically uploads to my YouTube when I'm broadcasting live. It also uploads automatically to my Twitter when I'm live. And I'm Halsey Allen on Twitter as well. So yeah, that's the best way not to miss a live. That's my time. Hopefully you will have a productive day by the time I share this back on social media. Like I said, this has been another full episode of the Narrative Podcast. Halsey Allen and the Narrative Podcast signing out. Love.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Set your place on fire. Put a little bit of shit, put a little bit of shit, get a little bit of gasoline. Put a little bit of shit,